talking about what it is, how can we get them off, or you might say using the technology to get the discussion going so they get back to this whole education, rather than first reaction is to go inside, you might say, to write an answer, but not inside, like you say, to find that seed within coming out. So my question is, what's the techniques that you might be saying to use in the current educated mass that's coming out of universities to get them discussing?
The education is all about participation. So even more than discussion, I would like the word dialogue. Or dialogue doesn't necessarily mean just between two, but even when you have a group together, you can have more dialogue. And so I suggest that discussion should take place, first of all, in not too large groups, but maybe 15, 20 people at the maximum. And if possible, sit in a circle so that everybody is able to see each other and talk to each other, rather than speaking to the person just in front of you and not beside you or behind you. So if you sit in a circle, that would be a good technique. And then have on the board written, this dialogue is all about participation. So everybody in the group need to be invited and given opportunity to speak, so that there's a participation. And so out of that circle, participation and dialogue, I think your discussion might emerge, and you might find some ideas which are a kind of more collective wisdom, as one would call it. Collective wisdom might emerge.
Bobsy, a question.
A pleasure hearing you talk such wisdom. My question is around 2011, where we are almost on the cusp of 2012. You mentioned some great teachers, Mahatma Gandhi, Rabindranath Tagore, Gregory Bateson. This is perhaps the perennial wisdom that's been with us for ages and ages. My question is, what signs do you, Dr. Satish Kumar, see in the world today, signs of hope in our education system, of this change, of this revolution that you speak so eloquently about?
Yeah. Yes, there are signs of hope. When even 10 years ago, I was going around universities, there were very few people who would be interested to talk about holistic education. Even the word holistic was very little known, or if it was, they didn't much care. So in the last 10 years, the awareness about these holistic ideas of everything interrelated are gaining ground. So there is a beginning there. And in most universities now, people are beginning to address these questions of sustainability, of creativity, of imagination. All these ideas are starting to take place. But still, the business idea is very dominant. And even in big universities, the business schools get the most finance and most support. And so we need to put business has a place, of course. We need business, but business is not everything. It has a place, but there are other aspects as well. So my hope is in young people, and they are coming out of universities and gaining their own, even if universities did not teach them, they are creating their own ideas. And in England, I know there are a number of movements like human skill education, and then the traditional movement, quite a long time, somebody was talking to me about baccalaureate, and that's a wonderful movement. And they truly bring in the head, heart, and hands, and particularly very skill-based. So there are some international schools starting. Atlantic College in Wales, which has branches in a number of places, they use baccalaureate as their one of their system. So those movements are the hopes for the future. And if they gain ground and we become more related and be more connected with natural world, with our sustainability, I would like to see every school having a garden so the children can connect with natural world. In the garden, you see the plant growing, you sow the seed, and you see what it happens to it. I would like to see in every school a kitchen where children can learn how to cook, and I'll talk about it tomorrow more, about food. So these are some basic things starting to happen in certain areas, in certain schools. So let's all together promote those ideas. And then even intellectual education and scientific education has also important place. We must not throw baby with the bathwater, but it's a question of balancing, and that is beginning to happen.
You're optimistic.
I'm optimistic, yeah. And after in this audience and such good response from you already, I'm optimistic.
Great, thank you.
The professor here.
Professor Wen
Yeah.
has a question. Yeah.
Thank you,
Yes.
Dr. Satish. It's a fantastic speaking, but it's the most fantastic is speaking in Hong Kong. You know that Kaduri Farm maybe is the only one farm in Hong Kong, and Hong Kong has eliminated all of agriculture. And then when you talk about, I have been familiar with your talk, so I know the meaning. But here in Hong Kong, when you talk about relationship, the human being and the nature beings, certainly we know that human being is a part of nature beings.
Yes.
But here in Hong Kong, the Hong Kong citizens is very poor. They don't have any relationship with animals.
Yeah.
I mean, they eat pork, but they don't know the pork from pigs.
Yeah.
Because they cannot see the pigs.
Yeah.
Okay. They eat a lot of meats, but they don't know that where it's from. So they have no such kind of relation with the natures. Yeah, see, yeah, they have, but some grass and the trees, but animals, is close to human beings. I think that they are short of the
Yes.
opportunities.
Yes.
How they deal with such kind of
How?
problem.
Yeah. I think in Hong Kong you are blessed with sea and water. So what my suggestion would be that there should be a renewal of fishing. Compassionate, non-industrial, I'm a vegetarian, but not all Hong Kong people are vegetarians. So maybe fishing industry, and then getting not this industrial fishing. When you go in the ships and the vast factory-like ships, and you have no connection. But when you are sitting by the water and waiting for one fish to come, and then you are so happy that you got one fish, and you take it with love and care, and thank you with gratitude. And that is a kind of connection with the other than human world, more than human world, connection with the natural world, with water, and sitting in peace, in quiet, in silence. We have forgotten. I would like to see all schools having silence in Hong Kong. If you can start schools and your classes with 5 minutes of silence, that would be a very good reconnecting, and think about the universe and the natural world. So when you are sitting by the water and waiting and meditating in silence, that's a very spiritual and a very ecological, very environmentally sustainable way of living. And maybe Hong Kong is very poor from natural point of view, but you are very rich from financial point of view. So maybe you are so rich that now you can afford to have less work in your offices, maybe 3 days a week. And then take 1 or 2 days every week out. Even in new territory where Kaduri Farm is, you can go and walk and maybe garden or maybe do some walking. So you can create your spiritual richness and your natural richness by being imaginative. That's all I can say.
Thank you. Roy had a question.
Thank you for your wonderful talk.
Thank you.
You speak of educating the heart.
Yes.
There's a growing group of people in the technology field that believe that they can raise consciousness through games, biofeedback systems, and all kinds of things, even tying in with social networks. So my question to you is, do you believe that the heart can be transferred and somehow through the digital world?
I don't think we need to transfer heart through digital world because we have brain for that. So when we have good brain and we can use technology or digital world or cyber space or anything, scientific approaches with our brain. Because brain has been given to us for reasoning, for analysis, for knowing intellectually, and we should use that. But the heart's function, heart will not be so successful in going digital. You will have heart failure. So I would say use the heart for the purpose for which it is well equipped. And the function of the heart is to have courage. The word courage comes from the same root as heart. So have courage and have a trust and be free of fear. Those are the qualities which are related to heart. At the moment, our educational system is not training heart, and that is why our people are very fearful. There's a tremendous amount of fear. Fear of nature, fear of future, fear of not getting job, fear, fear, fear. Because our hearts are not trained to be courageous. Courage comes from heart. And so trust and courage will give you energy to go out in the world, not knowing how the world is going to respond to you, and you will discover how wonderful the world is. As Andrew said, I walked around the world. I walked 8,000 miles without any money in my pocket. I could not have done it if I was just thinking digitally or computer and Googling and all the kind of biological kind of science and so on. I went with my heart, with courage. I said, I'm going to trust the world. And I went to Muslim countries, Christian countries, capitalist countries, communist countries, black people, white people, every kind of rich, poor, every kind of people, without a penny in my pocket for 2.5 years. You can read in my book, No Destination. And so that is the function of the heart, to have that fearless, courageous, adventurous spirit, to love. Love is risky. You cannot love